Emma had been probably the fittest of all our children. She was really healthy, and she was an occupational therapist working with stroke sufferers. It was something out of the blue that we couldn't even fathom, that this could have happened, that it was a congenital thing in her brain. She'd had it since she was born. We thought, what is going to be the result for Emma? We don't know whether she's going to wake up. When she wakes up, will she be able to move? Will she be able to speak? That made me feel incredibly sad and incredibly anxious. She was still in hospital, she was still in intensive care, but she was awake sometimes, alert sometimes, and had shocking nightmares. I think that was the most awful thing, to watch her afraid. We'd go back from the hospital and we'd sit and we'd write on the computer to a huge group of people. Later on, I put all those Emma updates into an album for Emma with photos, with the little band that she wore. I thought it would be good for her to know what happened in those 8 days. It was a blank for her. I didn't think that Emma would still be on a frame 5 years later. It didn't really enter my head that she would, and in fact I didn't think she would be in Royal Talbot for 5 or 6 months as she was. I thought she'd have a couple of months there and gradually she'd get better and better. So we became more and more realistic the more time we spent with Emma. But I always used to say to her, and it probably wasn't helpful, you're looking like the old Em. You know, you just look like the old Em, and Em hated that. And I could see why, because she wasn't the old Em, and she knew she wasn't going to be the old Em. And in fact, I loved the new Em a whole lot more. When I learned to understand that this Em wasn't going to be the same as the old one, then I settled a bit more. I didn't have to make her better.
Just to keep them clean.
I would imagine that I cried every day. Every day, at least once. I'm good at crying, so I'm glad I could cry, because other people I know in situations like that can't. And I had wonderful friends. Sometimes I felt very selfish, because when I was with my friends, it tended to be all about me. They would ask me about how I was and how Emma was, and I felt like I wasn't in the real world. It was all about us all the time, and I wanted to talk about normal things. I wanted to just do normal things, and there weren't a lot of normal things at that stage that I could do. I didn't ever go to a counsellor or anything like that, and neither did my husband. We had such a supportive family and such a supportive group of people around us. We honestly, I don't really believe we needed to. I have a garden and I absolutely love my garden, and that was a real help to me. It was therapy, and I would get out in the garden and just pull out weeds and cut things back. I also learned to swim, which I've never done, and at the beginning I used to take Emma to swimming and get everything out of the car and get her in there, and then I'd go and I'd think, now while she's swimming, I've got an hour, I'm going to race down, I'll do this and this and this. And then I thought, no, I know what I'll do. I'll stay there and I'll swim myself. And at first I swam right near Emma, and that's not what she wanted, and it wasn't good for me. So I went down to the other lane right at the other end of the pool and tried not to even be anxious about her, but just swim myself. It's not helpful just to keep busy all the time, and I think I did that in the beginning. I tried to fill up every minute with running, and I needed to sit. Some of the things people said were very unhelpful. People who say, oh look, my grandmother had a stroke and it's awful and I know what you're going through. People who say, I know what you're going through, I would never say that to anyone, because nobody knows what anyone else goes through. everybody's situation is different. We didn't want people ringing us. We knew that they cared, but we couldn't cope with telling this story or talking about it. Or people who would say, I hope you're looking after yourself, but never in any way try to see how they could help you. You know, some people would just bring a meal or pop some flowers on the step or leave a note in your box. That was the best thing. I think one of the hardest things for me has been feeling that I've got to divide myself up into so many pieces. I've got to give a big amount to Emma, and I want to do that and I love doing that, but it means there's only so much left. We had 3 grandchildren last year from the other 3 kids in 9 months. So I want to be there for them as well. Hi, Em.
Hey.
No, well, do you want me to put him away while you eat it, Em?
No, it's go.
I have a lot of trouble not controlling Emma, and I'm learning not to do that, but I kind of think it's easier for me if I come in and see that there's stuff all over the sink. It's better that I can do it so quickly. Just put them on the bench, Hayne. You can put them where you want. Yeah. There's a balance that you have to get between letting her get on with things and knowing that she can, but at the same time making it easier for her because it's so hard. Take it home, put some on.
Yeah, if you have time, that would be good.
Okay. Probably the biggest emotion we feel at the moment is pride in Emma, because people have got to know her and she doesn't lie down and put the blankets over her head each morning. She gets up and she says, I know I've got to swim. That French name or
that.
You have to do different things for them, but and encourage them and encourage them in the things they want to do. You don't have to save them. Like you have to respect them and make sure they keep their dignity, which I didn't at the beginning.